Hello and welcome to another video game story time with me, Sky Fellowship. Today's episode is definitely going to be entitled Nintendo Magic because it has to be. First up, I'm going to say, not that anyone will ever be watching this or listening to this from a position of power to do this. Can we have an actual Switch 2 version of this game, please? I know it got a bump. I know it got some upgrades and some stuff for free. That is amazing. But if you're apparently not making a sequel to this, despite being the 40th anniversary of Mario this year, or was it last year? Right, is it last year and the celebrations of this year? Because I know Zelda's this year as well, and they're ignoring Zelda, but they're at least doing something for Mario, mainly a second movie. But yeah, Mario's yawning. He's right, I should get on with this. I want an actual Switch 2 version, though. Like, can we just have some more Kingdoms as DLC? Can we have anything at all to expand this masterpiece of a fucking game, please? I want a reason to replay it as well, because I never actually got to do the final mission, like the one that's supposed to be super brutally rock hard. I had the worst migraine when I got up to it, and my reaction times were so totally short, it's unbelievable, and you need precision in this sort of game, so I never got around to playing that, and I really, really would fucking like to. So, yeah, that's the waffle part out of the way, and I'm going to say, for anybody who doesn't know anything about my older videos, I don't like Mario 64. Never have done. Complained about it ever since it came out. I grew up with it. It's not a case of I played it as an adult and it doesn't hold up. I played it day one and I don't think it holds up. I have never been a Mario 64 fan at all. And weirdly, some people are actually starting to realise that, because I actually noticed there's a video game quiz show that I really like, and the whole point is you write in with what your... Like, this one was a question of, what is the worst Mario game? Mario 64 actually made that list. Alongside, if memory serves, things like Mario is Missing, some, like, really notoriously bad games. Mario 64 was the lowest point answer, but it made the list. And I'm like, oh, good, people might finally be realising this. Sunshine didn't even make the list, and Sunshine's the one that people think's worse. And I actually would probably agree. I kinda liked Mario Galaxy. And kinda liked Mario Galaxy 2. I definitely had issues with it, but there were at least better games. But until Mario 3D Land, and then Mario 3D World, I was like, yep, 3D Mario's not for me. It just isn't, because these are not 3D Mario games to me. They don't have a Mario feeling. They don't have any of the things that make me think, yes, I am playing a Mario game. So 3D Land and 3D World comes out. Mario games in 3D, and suddenly I'm like, yeah, this is Mario, this is what I've been after all this time. Why couldn't we just have this in the first place? So cut to Odyssey coming out. And I was like, oh, here we go again. A 3D Mario game that's not going to feel like a Mario game, that's not going to play like a Mario game, that is not going to have any of the warm fuzziness that makes me think, yep, I'm playing a really, really solid platformer. This game's a fucking masterpiece, as I've already said. Like, I don't know what else there's going to be to say about it. Every kingdom is better than the last. It felt like every single thing that I did in this game from one moment to the next was better than the last one. It never felt like it was peaking. It didn't have that moment where it's like, yeah, this is the peak and now we start to go downhill. It's just like, no, the entire game's just fucking peak, apparently. The music, the art, the graphics, the gameplay, the magic. They're just out and out magic. It's why I've called this video Nintendo Magic. I wish I'd set up a file, because the worst part is I deleted that purely in case they ever did do a Switch 2 version properly so I could start it again. I wish I had a file set up so I could go to some of these kingdoms, because the music in the Bowser one, it's some of the best music I've ever heard in a single fucking video game in my life. New Donk City had moments that brought pure, genuine joy and tears to my fucking eyes. Like, it is an absolute magical masterpiece of a game. And it's from the very start that you notice all of the winks and the nods to, we're going to take you through everything when it comes to Mario. Like, you've already seen this in the video. I know. Anyone who's played the game knows about these. But the fact that you hit this and it's like, I'm playing 2D Mario in 3D Mario? This is brilliant. Everything about it is brilliant. And you get so many fucking Easter eggs and little hints and just things from all of the Mario universe, but also so many brand new things, and the ability to play as all of these enemies that you have for the longest time known and experienced and hated, and now it's like, I get to play as a Chen Chomp. This is fucking amazing. And I did, unfortunately, have a couple of things spoiled for me. The Dragon Boss and Yoshi. There was a YouTuber that I really liked who just one day decided, fuck spoilers, and posted thumbnails with them in, and I'm like, well, I'm unsubscribing from you, because, it was really annoying. That kind of knocked me out of playing the game for a little bit, because I was really annoyed that I just hadn't learned that firsthand. But when I still finally got to play as Yoshi like that, and got to do the dragon fight, it was magic. Every last part of this fucking game is just absolute magic. And the whole vein of the video isn't just to talk about Super Mario Odyssey, though. It really is to talk about that Nintendo magic specifically. Nintendo's a company unlike any other, and there's so many people who are shitting on them, and rightfully so, for a lot of things that they've done. But I'm making this video after Sony and Microsoft have just shit the bed yet again. Sony apparently are contemplating no longer supporting PC, so it's like, use our weak, underpowered piece of shit console or else. Sorry, the PS5 is, especially compared to my PC. I cannot believe how, like, graphically, games like Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima look like Switch games on the PlayStation compared to my PC. That's the only way I can describe it. So if they were actually running on a Switch, they would look even worse. But genuinely, it's like, I would rather wait to experience the breathtaking visualness that those games have, because it adds to the little bit of magic that the Sony games have. When your game looks like shit, it kind of hurts it. And I'm not a graphics snob. I'm truly not. I don't have the world's most powerful PC, but it is still more powerful than a modern day console. I don't like go out and get every single Ranger series whenever they're there, because these things have to last me for a long time. So at the moment, I've got the shiny new graphics, but eventually it'll be outdated and I won't care. I won't care about dropping down to medium. But Nintendo, their games look magnificent, even without the power. And that's something I'm kind of noticing as part of the Nintendo magic. Because Sony, I need to be able to boost Spider-Man and Tsushima up to the, like, max fucking fidelity that I can put it, to really, truly appreciate these worlds. Because Nintendo seem to have some devilry with making their games look absolutely magnificent, even on weak hardware. And it's all of these little things that make up a Nintendo game that you truly do not get this level of polish anywhere else with any other studio. When they put something out, if they put something out and it's like getting bad reviews for performance issues, that's almost unheard of. And I know Xenoblade Chronicles X is having this issue with the Switch 2 version specifically, which people seem to think might be handheld versus full screen. Because I can honestly see it using the full screen version. I've never had any of these issues. So I think it is that sort of thing. They get dragged under the coals. And it's because it's so unlike Nintendo to do that. Whereas with the other companies, we're kind of expecting it. Spider-Man 2, I loved that game. It was broken as fuck when I played it. I had so many major issues, from visual bugs to boss fights breaking. Like, it lacked a serious amount of polish. And I'm like, this is one of the flagship fucking franchises for Sony. This would never happen in a Mario, and it would never happen in a Zelda. And even the Zeldas that people have issues with, like Skyward Sword, that game was polished to fuck on the Wii. It had controller issues, so we say, where if you didn't have the right kind of controller, I noticed having an actual official controller, the tech seemed to work better than my Wii Motion Plus add-ons, because that was just... Nintendo's hardware side is where the shittiness comes in. Labo, Virtual Boy, stuff like that. But their actual games, they have the level of polish that just doesn't happen anywhere else. And it's not just gameplay and polish, it's actual magic. It really is, because I get emotions and experiences with Nintendo games that I don't get anywhere else. It's why it doesn't matter how powerful a PC I've got, I will play Nintendo games on Nintendo hardware and not have an issue. But the Sony stuff, I've found myself like, you know what? I can live without your works. And Microsoft's the same. I will play anything and everything. I've got a very expensive library on my channel of thousands of reviews. I will replay old games that look like shit compared to today's standards, be it old 3D games on the N64 and the PlayStation 1, or old 2D games on the NES, the Commodore 64, anything like that. I truly am not a graphics snob. I'm hoping that isn't what you're taking away from me saying that. I just can't think of a way to actually explain it. Because Sony games are so by the number Blair sequels these days that I feel I need a level of graphic fidelity to kind of wow me, because I don't get that wow from anywhere else. Whereas with this is like an 8-year-old game, 9-year-old game by the time I'm recording this. I still think this looks better than a lot of stuff that I've just been talking about, like the PlayStation versions of, because I don't have any of the real texture pop-up issues that I would get with the PlayStation versions, or the fuzziness, or anything like that. And all of that stuff takes me out of it. And Breath of the Wild does have some pop-in, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to act like that one doesn't, but Breath of the Wild's also one of the most, like, expansive fucking games out there. And Tears of the Kingdom kind of fixed all of that. It's clear that it was they were working with the limitations, and they were already working their pure Nintendo magic, but that hadn't fully settled in, and then all of that kind of got fixed with Tears of the Kingdom, where people were like, holy crap, how did you push even more stuff out of this fucking system, out of this console, out of this engine? Like, it's miraculous. But that's because they used the same engine, and they worked on it for like 7-8 years. Of course they're going to get to that point of being able to do it. I guess where I'm essentially going with this is, long dev times are something that a lot of people are getting pissed off about and considered like the scourge of the industry. But certain developers, long dev times really do allow them to shine. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe Sony should be targeting smaller experiences. Maybe Sony should be avoiding all of these like massive graphical fidelity things that clearly are struggling to run on their console and clearly have been designed with PC in mind. Because, again, when you get the likes of Tsushima, I'm like, I cannot believe this is supposed to... Like, this is the game that everyone's raving about, saying it looks gorgeous. And I played it on the PlayStation first, and I was like, yeah, I can't... This is an eyesore to me. But I bought it on the PC, and I was like, oh yeah, now I see it. Yeah, this is like, now I see what people are talking about. Wow, this game is absolutely fucking jaw-dropping. But I didn't get that until I threw some power into it. Whereas Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Metroid Prime 4 that's getting shit on by so many people. How the fuck did Nintendo manage to do that? Like, and I know this is Retro in this case, which Retro are the real wizards out there. Like, out of all of their teams, Retro are one of the most wizardly of all Nintendo magics. How the fuck does Metroid Prime 4 run on the Switch 2? That game looks way better than it has any right to look. Nintendo magic is just a thing. And I will always stick with Nintendo and PC, no matter how much all of this console exclusivity gets watered down, and they do release things for the PC all the time, which, again, part of doing this video, Sony have kind of announced, well, actually, we might be abandoning the PC, and it's like, well, I guess that means I'm abandoning you, Sony, because you've already closed every studio that I liked, shut down every game that I like, and I know fine well that your PlayStation versions of your games are not up to par, because the Spider-Man 2 issues I mentioned, I played that at launch because I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, and I will probably play Wolverine if it never comes to the PC. I'll kind of have to, because Wolverine's one of my all-time favourite superheroes. I have complex PTSD. Wolverine is someone that I very much vibe with. I want to experience that story. But that's it. I love Tsushima. If I never get to play Yotai, if they never port it to the PC, I can't say I'm upset with that. I can't feel like I'm missing out at any point. If I never play another Horizon again, if I never play another Infamous again, do they even still make Infamous? I know Infamous is the same dev as Tsushima. I really can't think of, and it's the same with Microsoft. I'll stay with Gears of War, which should always be coming to the PC anyway, so I should be fine with that. Can't think of a single Microsoft franchise that would ever cause me to buy a console. If they turn around now, after firing Phil Spencer and like Sarah Bond basically walking, and them hiring this AI person now, they're trying to get the whole, we tried the Xboxes everywhere. Now we've realised that's pissed off our fan base. Let's go back to Xbox's exclusive. Okay, fine. But if you don't support PC, I'm not buying an Xbox. I've been there. My Xbox Series X died 5 weeks in. My PS5, I have beat 3 games on it. Just 3, that's it. Your consoles are not good. They're the worst consoles, I think, that have been out there in a while. I still think the Xbox 360 is a really good console. It's not about more power. It's about the experience that you provide on your console. I still think the PlayStation 4 is a lot better than the PlayStation 5. It really isn't a power thing. It's just how you're utilizing your power and your systems. And I can't ever see me going back and going, you know what? I want an Xbox Series 720. I want a PlayStation 6. I can't ever look at those and think I want them. Because there's nothing I'm excited for. Just absolutely nothing I'm excited for. But a Switch 3? I'll buy a Switch 3. Fucking 2 right, I'll buy a Switch 3. I've already had Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is the same team who did Mario Odyssey. I'll buy a fucking Switch for whatever that team makes. I'll buy a Switch for whatever IG Inuma and the Zelda team makes. I'll buy a Switch for whatever Retro's doing next. I will easily, gladly buy a Switch 3. Can't say that about the others. I don't think Sony and Microsoft have ever been companies you can explain as having magic. It really is exclusive to Nintendo. Because Nintendo just have that magic. And you can obviously disagree with me. And that's kind of the point of these videos. I'm talking about my own experiences. But I truly cannot say that I feel anything for a corporation. I don't feel anything for Nintendo in that way either. They're still a corporation. But I can't say that, you know what, my life is so much better because of Sony. And my life is so much better because of Microsoft. I already have videos up on my channel. That I only exist because of Zelda these days. Like, that is the thing that saved my life as a child. So maybe I've got some sort of bias with it. But at the same time, I had a PlayStation at the same time that I was going through all of this shit with my life nearly ending. I loved Resident Evil. Resident Evil isn't like wasn't a caliber of game that I could see saved my life. But Zelda has that Nintendo magic, and it's that Nintendo magic that truly does give me some level of life. If I am having the worst time of the worst time, I'll replay a Mario game. I'll replay a Zelda game. I'll replay something that means so much to me. I replay Resident Evil games all the time, but I don't get to a point where it's like, you know what, the world's on fire. I need to play Resident Evil right now. I'll go, you know what, the world's on fire. I need to save Hyrule right now. I need Nintendo magic in my life, and I hope that that never goes away. And I know there's a lot of people who are pissed off, as I said earlier on, with Nintendo and saying that they don't do Nintendo Weird anymore, they don't have that. I don't know what to tell you, because Nintendo magic's never gone anywhere. And it's the one thing I'm so grateful for. Mario Kart brought me to fucking tears. Mario Kart World brought me to actual full-on fucking tears. Nintendo magic hasn't gone anywhere. They may have issues as a corporation and company and some loads of different things like that, but the magic's still there. And as long as the magic's still there, I will gladly buy every Nintendo console you ever fucking make. Even a Wii U 2. Never make a Wii U 2. I'm begging you, don't make a Wii U 2. None of us wanted the Wii U, let alone the Wii U 2. But I think I'm in for life now. Because even when they do something like the Wii U, they turn around and then they give us the Switch. And it's like, all is forgiven, Nintendo. Every bad word I ever said about you during that generation, all is forgiven. So yeah, I think this video's done. And I'm going to say it with that. This has been Sky Fellowship. And I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. But this is definitely one of those videos where I would like some engagement. Not for a boosting an algorithm thing, as I say every time I bring this up. Because I don't give a fuck. There's a reason I don't even mention the other stuff here. And I'm not mentioning it there. If you know, you know. But I want to know your Nintendo magic, and maybe you do have Sony magic. Maybe it is just something that my brain is wired so that I don't feel Sony magic. Bring up what franchises to you have that level of magic where you can always go back and always feel at home and feel safe and feel comfortable and feel like maybe the world's not so much of a bad place because there's people who made games like this. So yeah, just post in the comments, I guess. Post your stories, and truly, if you do have Microsoft and Sony magic, if that's a thing, I'm glad for you. I definitely don't, but as much as I love Gears of War, as much as I love Spider-Man, and I'm hoping to love Wolverine, I'm never going to get that magic moment. Spider-Man 1 came close. I did cry at the ending. I thought the ending was such an emotional story, and it was done really, really well. Spider-Man 2 was just a by the numbers sequel. I really liked it. I wish that my experience would have, like my first experience would have been less glitchy. I wish I'd waited for the PC version so that clearly it had the power to run the things that were breaking, but Yeah, and even then, I see that I got one of the same glitches. When I played the PC version, it's just, why do the others not seem to give a fuck about standards? And I know there's the whole Nintendo seal of quality and seal of approval and stuff like that, and then you look at the eShop filled with slop and stuff like that, but yeah, I wish the other companies had this level of care for their product, because I wish there was more than just Nintendo that I could get Nintendo Magic from. Right, waffled on too long, so I am going to say bye now. Bye.